In the summer of 2011, Christopher Treadmill, a young man from Ogden, Utah, traveled to North Carolina to a crystalline vortex known as Points of Light Crystal Gallery. He spent over 8 complete hours in the store. During that time, he gathered over 65 minutes of footage. Of that 65 minutes, approximately 3 minutes were usable. This film is dedicated to his memory.
Yeah, so I remember Chris. He showed up one day when there was almost nobody in the store the entire day. And I remember coming in, I was getting ready to set up, to open, and this guy was just like right outside the door, and I didn't know what he was, whether he was homeless, whether he was from the methadone clinic down the street. I mean, he just seemed really weird, and I didn't have a good feeling about him, but as it turned out, he actually spent the entire day, 8 hours in the store, and needless to say, it was a challenging day for me because I really didn't know what this guy was up to or what he was capable of. And of course now, with all the footage that's of that day, I really don't understand. I didn't even really notice him filming that much, but there's all of this footage of what happened that day, before the fateful event. And then he just acted really crazy. He was very erratic. He started banging on things like a 2-year-old. He was rambling on about a stone called Shine-a-Light, which I'd never heard of, which turns out that it was from when the Rolling Stones were being filmed by Martin Scorsese in New York City, that Mick Jagger was just so amped that he actually manifested a crystal in the palm of his hand while he was singing Sympathy for the Devil. And that was just, he was outraged that we didn't have Shine-a-Light, that we called ourselves the largest crystal gallery in the southeastern United States, and we didn't have this very pivotal crystal. So that gives you a little idea of the kind of state of mind he was in.
At first, he behaved like any normal visitor to the crystal gallery. Christopher spent the rest of the morning doing usual things with the crystals that he loved. He fondled them, caressed them, even meditated with them in an unusual rite of passage he called the hummingbird.
And I'm a pretty good judge of people, and I really was wondering to myself all day, is he bipolar? Just like what was going on with him. But, as it turns out, obviously the story kind of tells itself. And I remember, I went to lunch, and I actually thought that he had left, but as it turns out, when I came back, he was sleeping under one of the cabinets. He'd sort of stowed away, and then of course, the rest of the day was, some of what you see documented.
In this next footage, we see Christopher giving a diatribe that describes his inner workings, his message to humanity. He is angry not with the outside world, but with a part of himself, the part of himself that is a crystal, for having not understood his own kind, or perhaps for understanding them all too well.
People think I'm crazy to love crystals so much, but I was born at a gem show. I was born on the floor right next to a big old piece of moldavite. It was a big green stone. And that's what I'm named after, is Christopher, crystals. And I've sworn to protect them. I've sworn to be one of them. I've sworn my allegiance to protect the stone people. A lot of people don't understand that. They say, Christopher, you're crazy. You don't understand the world. You have a problem. I don't think so. I think that the outside world is crazy, and I think that the world needs to change to understand the elements that are here. Nature, real power, real stuff.
All day we must wonder as I watch this footage if Christopher indeed had a problem with the outside world, if he was hostile inside. Then why did he make his way here? What was going on inside this man's mind? What we do know is that he started to display strange behavior with the crystals, acting paranoid as though something was attacking or threatening them and trying to protect them overly too much. Then, in one moment we see he has a complete break with reality. In what is perhaps the most critical moment of the footage, we see Christopher contemplating the nature of the double rainbow, breaking down all reality around him.
Oh my god, it's a double rainbow! Absolute double rainbow!
What in common psychological circles is known as a double rainbow attack has happened to Christopher Treadmill. From this point on, the footage becomes shaky. Everything is unknown. All we have now is the testimony of Leo McPhee, the last person to see him in his normal physical human body.
And I remember at the end of the day, I was closing up, and I thought that he was actually gone. I thought that just in the last half hour that he was gone. I was closing up. I was relieved because it was a very hard day of dealing with his erraticness and his antics. And then, as I was turning off the lights, I looked back to the back corner of the store, and I saw a pile of clothes on the floor, and this crystal, this just big slabbish crystal that I had never seen anything like it before, and I just did not know what to do. I sort of freaked out, but there was nothing to do. He was gone, the crystal was there, and we later had the crystal analyzed because we didn't know what it was. As it turns out, it doesn't have any of the characteristics of any crystals that anyone knows of. So we've actually named it Treadmillite in honor of Christopher, even though he was a very strange person. You know, it seems only right.